Hey, today is a fun one. We'll be using the Archer and Olive Acrylograph paint pens in order to create some fun bullet journal dividers. So not only is this a review of these awesome pens, it is also going to help you with your bullet journal or travel journal or whatever have you will be. It does come with these extra tips, which makes things super handy for when you need them, and you can use the packaging itself for blending colors together, but we're just going to keep this simple and go over their beautiful colors in action. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to feature their white Acrylograph pen first because it shows up great on these opaque matte finishes. So I drew these little banners with one of the colors in this pack, and that also makes a great divider or separator. So you can plant that idea in your head as we get started. And the first divider is pretty simple, but really does the trick. It is these side slashes. They could be forward, they could be back slashes. You've probably noticed this video is sped up a little bit, and that is because I don't think that you want to watch me drawing lines for so long. But I am wanting to give you these beautiful swatches. So the second divider is simple circles, and these can be broader or smaller. I love doing little dots for borders, boxes, etc. And the next one are these small little triangles, which can be upside down or right side up, but they make for some added interest and little doodles. You can take that point and simplify it by doing just a line that is zigzag, and then you can get real simple again and just do some dashes. Sometimes I like to do these really close together where there's two lines of dashes for borders and whatnot. And then this one kind of always reminds me of little like bird feet and I love doing them just because it's like a little burst, if you will, to emphasize corners or doing a full separator. And then you can do the same thing we did with triangles where they're little boxes or little squares. Obviously these work great for checklists, but also if they're small enough they work good for borders or text separation. And I ran out of room here, but you can do something fancy where they have little arches, little dots at the ends of them. It's like little flourished lines. And keeping wavy lines in there, you can always do a border. And for funsies, I'm going to add this divider that I did at first, only on a straight line. And these are essentially just little points at the bottom where they come straight down and then make an inverted V and then come right back up, and then you fill those in. They can be a lot larger than this, but for the sake of this, I just wanted to smush them in here as a line. For those of us who love florals of all kinds, which I think I can speak for a lot of us, you can always add these little leaves where they are just little curves, little arches that come off of a single line, and they work great as dividers because they're nice and thick, but still kind of elegant. They can also be pretty playful. You can carry that kind of leaf shape into just a basic shape and sit it on its side, or it could be straight up and down. But these little shapes that are hollow, you can fill them in, but when they're hollow, they do make for really interesting stuff. And simplifying again, we've got our X's. I'm always a fan of doing X's. I think that they are fun and kind of edgy. And not just with edges, but when you turn any shape on its side and shorten a line, like these little, like they could be plus signs or crosses or what have you, it totally changes the vibe too. So change proportions, angles. And this one is one of my favorites. It's just straight up and down lines, but small and then longer and then shorter and then longer and then shorter and then longer. And I think it's fun because it just adds all that texture that I love to see inside of my notebooks. And then speaking of changing proportions, if you do little dots or circles, you can do a combination of both. Then there's always the classic wave, which is a fun separation for any time that you are at the ocean or the coast or a vacation. Another favorite of mine is an imperfect line that has thick and thin areas. I think that it just adds so much character. So don't be afraid to be imperfect in these things. So as you can see, this is a beautiful selection of colors. This is their tropical set of their Acrylograph pens. Yes, this is on white, but you can do it on any surface. It could be on glass or ceramic or dark paper, craft paper. the funnest part about these is that they are those finer tips of acrylic paint on pens, which, gosh, it really gives you some options that you might not have otherwise had with paint pens. So I hope this was fun and inspired some ideas for you guys, and I will see you shortly.